I'd like to call to order the Clarkston Independence District Library Board of Trustee meeting for October 14th, 2019 at 6:05. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Jan Gaffney.
Here.
Michelle Ginn.
Here.
Dan Green.
Here.
Mary Himberg.
Here.
Elsa McFadden Keesling.
Here.
Marilyn Pomeroy.
Here.
Ann Rose. Here. Right here.
Okay, I'd like to call for approval of the agenda.
Yeah, I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Yes, and the amendment will be that instead of number 1, which is our,
Third quarter financial report.
yes, our
I don't have the report. Due to technical difficulties, it didn't come, so.
So we do not have our third quarter financial report. So instead, we're going to have a report on our evaluation committees. Is there a second to the motion?
Second. Okay, who's going to be?
Who was first?
I think it was Dan.
Who's first to second?
Yeah, who's first?
I think Dan did it as amended.
Dan made the motion.
Dan made the motion and Jan second.
Got it.
I
Okay.
heard it.
You both are so quiet.
I know.
We're trying to do better. Any questions about the amendment? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. At this time, we'd like a call to the public. Hello, Marion.
Hi, it's been a long time. I'm glad to see you. As you probably know, the Friends Library Liaison is on the other side of the world in Australia, having a wonderful time with her husband over there, traveling and seeing the sights. So, I'm here.
We're glad you like it.
As most of you probably know, fall is really the busiest time for the Friends. We have 2 big fundraisers plus our general membership meeting. We just finished the end of September our fall book sale, and we took in almost $9,000, which is in keeping with basically the same amount we've taken in every year since about 2016, give or take each time a couple $100. We just organized and established a book sale committee, so they are going to be looking before the next book sale in the spring, better ways to get items pressed out the door besides being taken on the last day that will sell, working with the sorters, and more effective PR. They're also going to look at what changes we had made for this sale that seem to have really worked. The next fundraiser will be on December 7th, a Saturday. It's the holiday sale. And our next board meeting will be putting into place the final steps for that particular day. We are also trying something new. I think Nancy's probably told you about the handbag sale that we're doing. So it's called the Holiday and Boutique Sale. The items that are in print, we have established some new criteria to see if we can get more out of the door and less that people will feel overwhelmed in browsing. And trying to go with what Clarkston seems to be saying we want this sale to be. It's really changed its focus in terms of the clientele who have come in and voiced what they'd like to see. So we're trying to keep up with that, and then we'll also reevaluate it afterwards. And finally, this is not a fundraiser, but on Thursday, October 24th is our general fall membership meeting, and it's always exciting to see someone in the audience. And the last few meetings that have been general membership meetings, we've tried to have a presentation of some sort instead of the usual routine. And this time, Bill Bowman will be presenting a program that he's done, but he'll cut it down to about 15 minutes on cutting the cord and saving money. And as you know, Bill is a fabulous head of IT here. Also, we have Adrienne Palumbo, who is now also the volunteer liaison to the Friends. And she will speak for just a couple of minutes talking about a new management system called Logistics. It's a volunteer management system that she worked with and used when she was head of the volunteers at the Detroit Zoo and found it to be very effective. So a couple of us will start to work with her once everything is downloaded onto that from the Friends. And at the general membership meeting also, the new slate of officers and board members will be presented for 2020. As Nancy's told you in the past, we have 2 officer positions still vacant, the president-elect, but we had that last year going into the fall into 2019, and Carol McNally graciously stepped up and will become our new president starting January 1st. The other one is a bit harder. It's our own Friends Board treasurer's position, which we're looking to find. But we have a plan in place. If on January 1st there is not someone to take that board position, then our CPA, Pat McCarthy, will step in and work with us as a treasurer interim. And we do have a member on the board who, in either way, depending on what the situation is, will work as the assistant to the treasurer so that daily things such as taking cash to the bank, getting set up with cash for book sales and such will take place. That person will be in charge of that. So we are looking, we are actively pursuing, and we will bring this up again at the general fall membership meeting. And we're also looking for, which we haven't had ever since I've been on the board, a chairman of the book sale. That's a huge, huge job, and so we may continue as we have. Well, we'll probably have to, where we all split duties and proceed onward. Thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
we hope to see some of you there. It's always nice to see a trustee there. We get very excited.
Thank you. At this time, I'll close the call to the public. I'll accept a motion for the consent agenda.
I move that we approve it as presented.
Second.
It's been approved and seconded that we approve the 7 items on the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to discuss any individual one? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you. Library statistics.
Okay, I didn't get any specific highlights to go over this evening. Sometimes the staff gives me some things that they want to point out. I did want to point out that our visitors were up 12% over last year. Our circulations were up 5% over last year. Downloads and wireless users in the building continue to grow, 23% and 18% respectively. Study room usage is up, which may be partially because the business center is available to be used as a study room when it's not being reserved. So those are some growth areas. We are down somewhat in children's programming, but I think that's because in September we tried to cut back on the number of programs we were offering because attendance was a little bit low last year. So instead of pushing and trying to do a lot of programs, we know kids are sort of getting back into their school routine and whatever, that we would cut back on those programs. So, any questions about statistics?
No, thank you. All right, library director's report.
Okay. In general information, October is a time of data reporting in libraries. The Detroit Suburban Library Roundtable, which is known as DSLRT, the annual survey will be due on November 14th. The data compilation will be distributed to participating libraries in December. This is the data that we use when we do our budget. So you'll recognize that DSLRT data, that acronym. The Library of Michigan has also started the state aid report collection season, which runs from October 1st of 2019 through February 1st of 2020. So that's also out there and ready to be collected. And so we are working on getting that submitted. Next item, in addition to the library board conducting the performance review of the library director and the self-review of the board, the library supervisory staff is conducting performance reviews of all the library's employees. This process takes place from September to December each year. That's underway. Next item, on October 4th, the library was closed for the annual all-staff training day. We shared the morning with the staff of the Brandon Township Library and the Holly Township Library. This included a speaker from the Michigan Business Consultants on teamwork and internal customer service. In the afternoon, we had an internal training, a team building exercise, a speaker on handling difficult situations, and department meetings. Feedback about the day was positive, and we would like to thank the board for funding this professional development opportunity. Everybody had a good day and felt like they got a lot out of it.
Great. Good.
In terms of project updates, you will notice some new signage throughout the building, bringing clearer attention to meeting rooms, restrooms, and library collections. Signage can be an expensive and time-consuming undertaking, so we've been doing this project in phases. So you'll see we put up a few signs, and then we work on some more signage and put in some more signage. So this has been an additional phase of that project. So next item, on October 1st, the old computer lab transitioned into the new conference room. When not reserved as a meeting space, it is still available for open seating. Smaller meetings that were being scheduled in the community meeting room, even though that much space was not needed, have been rescheduled in the new conference room. This is making the community meeting room more available for larger groups. Smaller groups that have already met in the conference room are giving positive feedback about using this new space. Library patrons that were accustomed to using the desktop computers in the computer lab are responding well to being able to check out a library laptop to be used anywhere within the building. The ability to select a workspace that fits their needs has been a positive change. So we've been getting, actually, we were a little bit worried, but we've been actually getting really positive feedback about that. The new self-check stations that the board approved at the July meeting have been installed and are working well. Because they are housed using the same furniture and they have a very easy-to-use interface, the transition has been very smooth in terms of integrating it into our daily operations. I think there are some people that I'm not entirely sure have even noticed that they're new because they're so easy to use.
Until you go to get your slip.
Yeah, that was the
Which now
one.
comes out.
I had to think about it for a second, then I went, oh yeah, we're gonna do this.
Yeah. Everything else felt very intuitive.
Yes,
Again,
yes.
the receipt comes out the bottom and it used to be off to the side. So. And in terms of collaborations, once again, the Friends Fall Book Sale was a huge success. Thank you to all of our hardworking volunteers. We would also like to thank the baking team of the Church of the Resurrection for hosting their bake sale on Saturday. We were gifted with a generous donation from their proceeds that we will use toward children's books.
Oh, that's nice.
That's very nice. Very good. Thank you. Any comments, questions? Okay, if not, we'll move on to regular business. So the first item in regular business is now a report on our evaluation committees. We have two current evaluation committees operating. One is the Library Director Performance Review Plan. So each year, all staff members in the library are given evaluations and discussions with their supervisors and our director. And the board's job is to review the director's position. So forms were distributed, data has been received and tallied, and the subcommittee has met to discuss that, and they will have a next meeting subcommittee to finish things up this Wednesday. Then we will submit a report to the board, and then we will have a report and a meeting with the director where we will review that. So that's subcommittee number one. Now subcommittee number two is that the board each year evaluates itself. So we look to see what kind of job we're doing, and same thing happens. We send out forms and evaluate how we think we're doing in three different areas. Number one, how well the board has done its job. And so we have 8 questions there, and they have to do primarily with how we govern ourselves, that our agenda reflects our strategic plans, that we give direction to the director, that we stick to our agendas, that board members all have an opportunity to be heard, and that we discuss the issues before the board. So our evaluation on that has come up to a rating of 35. Excellent is 32 to 40. So we're very pleased that we think we're doing well in that regard. The second area is how well the board conducts itself, as opposed to some areas of government that seem to be quite contentious and do not get along well together. We evaluate ourselves on whether we are aware of what's expected of us. Do we do our due diligence before meetings? Our director tries to inform us several days before our meeting of everything on the agenda, so we have time to review things before we meet. So we come prepared. We participate in board discussions. We encourage everyone to have a voice. We support whatever it is that we decide as a group, and that we like to have interaction with the community if they present themselves, or if we see them in the community, that we're prepared to answer questions. So in that area, we came up with a total of 56 points, and our scale was excellent is 48 to 60. So we feel good about that too. And the final area that we look at is our relationship with the library director. We are responsible for the hiring of the director. We are responsible for setting policy for the library that the director and the staff then use to effectively run our library. So we're always looking to make sure we have good communication with the director, that we provide direction to the director by reviewing policies and approving them. The director keeps us informed of any issues that need to be dealt with. We have a relatively old facility. We have exciting things happening every year. This year it was fire suppression. We needed new doors. We have a new shed. So all of these things that come up, the director keeps us involved in the planning and what's going on. We also find from the members of the staff who do a lot of the research on various policies that are presented to us. And so the library director keeps us apprised of the work of the staff in making this a better facility for the whole community. So the board then provides feedback and shows its appreciation to the director and the staff. So in this area, we ended up with a ranking of 47.12. Excellent is 40 to 50. So by and large, we have patted ourselves on the back and think that we are generally doing a pretty good job. We are a congenial board. We like to work by consensus. We have plenty of time for discussion. And so everyone is bringing a set of qualities to the board that makes our whole life easier. And we serve on subcommittees that interact with the library staff. Now, also, we looked over our questionnaire and we are going to make a couple recommendations. If we make them now, we can approve them if this is acceptable. So number 1, on A, how well has the board done its job? Number 4 says the board gives direction to staff on how to achieve the goals by setting, referring to, or revising policies. Actually, we give direction to the director. And so we would like to change the word staff to director. Okay? Under section B, how well has the board conducted itself? In most of us trying to answer numbers 12, our board meetings are always interesting. And number 13, our board meetings are frequently fun. We decided that actually those 2 questions were probably irrelevant to the functioning of the board. If we're fun, it's usually not intentional. And while we consider our items interesting, they are necessary for the proper functioning. So we would like to remove those two questions, although they cause us to chuckle.
We talked about that last year.
Yes, we did.
did.
But we did not make a recommendation.
Right.
So those are the three changes that the committee, the subcommittee, would like to propose. And I will accept a motion.
I would move that we approve changes to the form for the board's health evaluation.
Right.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we make three changes to our self-evaluation questionnaire. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Julie has made note
I have made note.
of the changes.
I'm sorry, who seconded that? Allison, thank you.
That was fun, wasn't it? Maybe we should keep it.
It was interesting.
We were trying to think of better words, but we decided perhaps the question was irrelevant.
So that particular form came from a university and it was intended for nonprofits. And so I suppose some other nonprofits might have different kind of fun in there. I don't know.
Well, there's a certain amount of tweaking that goes on, and once you've tried something, then it's time to kind of update it a little bit. All right, let's look at number 2, approval of the HAP rebate process. That sounds like fun.
Okay. On September 18th, the library received a letter from HAP informing us that we would be receiving a rebate as part of the requirements of the Affordable Care Act. The library's rebate will total $1,314.08 and must be used toward health care. We also received a rebate the last 3 years and propose handling this one in a similar way. We've deposited the check into budget line 716, which is health insurance, to hold the funds until distribution can take place. As in the past, we propose distributing these funds based on the division of contributions toward healthcare premiums. In this case, the library contributes 80% and the employees contribute 20%. The library portion will be used toward future healthcare premiums, and the employee portion will be divided and returned to the employees through a one-time reduction of the payroll deduction for healthcare premiums. We do need to consider that we had turnover in some of our full-time staff in 2018. Funds that would be attributed to employees who no longer work here can become part of the library's portion and used toward future premiums. In addition, we transitioned to an age-rated plan, so each employee has a unique premium amount. Due to these changes in circumstance, the calculation will need to be handled differently this year. To do this, I propose the following. Calculate the contributions of each of the employees who were part of the HAP plan in 2018 that still work here and divide that by the total HAP cost for 2018 to generate the total employee portion of the rebate. Then calculate each employee's percentage of the total employee contribution to determine each employee's individual rebate. As in the past, I propose reimbursing the employees with a one-time reduction of their healthcare contribution by their individual rebate amount. More details about these calculations are included in the packet. This method provides appropriate documentation that the funds are being used for healthcare. Since healthcare premium contributions are pre-tax, this distribution method ensures that the funds are returned in the same way that they were contributed and subject to appropriate taxes upon return. This distribution method was previously approved by the accountant and the auditor, and this distribution could take place in the next payroll. So I have a little spreadsheet in your, first of all, there's the letter from HAP, but then there's also a little spreadsheet that explains employee by employee how I calculated this out. So I took into account the number of months that they were in the plan because we had some people who came mid-year, took into account the amount of their total contribution for the year, divided that out, and you can see that there's a percentage for each employee of the total amount of that rebate that goes to the employees, and you can see how it's distributed out. So the total rebate going back to the employees is $196.30, and it shows how those individual rebates play out based on people's contributions.
Glad you don't have 50 employees.
Yeah. I'm also, when I did create this, so that you are aware, this particular spreadsheet has all the formulas built into it, so next year when I have to do this, all I have to do is load in the numbers and he'll do the math for me, so.
Yeah, it's so complicated.
Yeah.
It makes you almost not want to get the money back.
It's-
You know, 'cause
The employees didn't have to do the calculation though, so they're not aware.
They
of the
didn't have
workflow.
to do it.
Yeah, but they will be glad to see that little bit of
Right.
a reduction,
Right,
so.
but it's just, every time this comes in, it's again.
Yes.
It's like when the Medicare amount that you, or the Social Security amount that we get goes up 1.2 or whatever it is, and you're calculating this gigantic increase to
Yeah.
your monthly Social Security payment.
Well, and in this particular situation, it used to be based on the plan, and there were only 3 plans, a single, a double, and a family. But now, because it's age rated, it's each individual who's in the plan is included, and everybody's premium is different, and so it got a lot more complicated. So, it took me a little while to figure out kind of the best way to do it, and
No, I think you hit on a perfect method, but
once I
it
figured
is-
it out, I got the formulas all in the spreadsheet and double checked my math, and so next year it should be, hopefully, quick and easy.
Excellent. Any
Yes.
questions or comments?
No, it's a good job.
Yeah, it's a good
Then I'll accept the motion.
I move to approve the distribution plan for the half rebate as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, and that was several pages. I think we're clear on this. No questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is approved. Thank you. Snowplow contract.
Okay, I know, we don't want to talk about this, but it needs to be done before November 1st, just in case. Our contract goes from November 1st to October 31st each year, so. At the August meeting, the library board approved an RFP for snow plowing services for the 2019 to 2020 season. The RFP was posted on the library's website, and using the Waterford, Clarkston, and Orion Chamber of Commerce member lists and companies that have submitted proposals in the past, we sent out the RFP to local service providers. The posting was available from September 11th through October 9th. We received 2 submissions included in this packet. We recommend awarding the contract to the low bidder, Michigan Outdoor Service. This is also the contractor we had for the 2018-2019 season. And they're the low bidder by a lot, so this is not hard math.
Yeah.
This is, the other one was almost twice as much.
I found the parking lot salt per app. There's a huge difference between the 2 companies.
No, pardon? A little bit louder.
Oh, the parking lot salt, the third column over there, salt per application, 135 for Michigan Outdoor and 395 for Warner Brothers. That was such a drastic difference that I wondered if one of the companies didn't really understand what they were going to
Well,
say.
if you keep going down, every time it mentions salt, theirs is really high.
Salt is kind of a precarious thing, and last year, our contractor let us know that there was a collapse in, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a collapse in the mine in Detroit.
Right.
There was a collapse in the mine in Canada, and our contractor told me that he was actually getting salt from Italy. The salt, it seems crazy to me, but that's what he told me. So I don't know if he is bidding a similar amount, but he did say last year that he would give us forewarning if he felt there was going to be an issue. He did not raise the price this past season. His pricing is similar this year, so he must feel he's got a solid price. Now, I'm just wondering if the other contractor was pricing very high, knowing that
In anticipation.
in anticipation.
Well, Italy surprises me, but Detroit and Windsor have for many, many years been the primary source for road salt everywhere.
Yeah,
You know, those mines, the one in Detroit and the one in Windsor, have been providing road salt for.
and it's my understanding that there's also one in the Cleveland area, but nobody mentioned anything about that one, so I don't know. I'm not really privy to the details.
Yeah, I'm not
Looking
familiar
at
with one in
salt,
Cleveland, because we used to get ours, a lot of ours came from Canada, the city of Pontiac. A lot of it was brought
We've
over.
not heard any updates on either one of these salt mines?
I have not. So I'm trusting that, that our contractor gave us a good number this past year and that he's feeling like he can meet that price this year. So,
Okay, then we have a year of his services.
Okay, good job last year.
In that case, I will accept a motion.
I I move that we award the contract for snow plowing to Michigan Outdoor Service for the 2019-2020 season.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we award the contract for snow plowing to Michigan Outdoor Service for the 2019-2020 season. Any comments or questions? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Number 4, recommendation for library board appointments.
The governing board of the Clarkston Independence District Library consists of 7 trustees, 5 appointed by the Board of Independence Township and 2 appointed by the Council of the City of Clarkston. They serve 3-year terms. The current term expires on December 31st, 2019. Of the current board, 2 members are not seeking reappointment, one from the township and one from the city. After speaking to the township's deputy clerk and the city manager, we posted for applicants who would like to be on the library board with a submission deadline of October 7th. We received 2 submissions. Christy Shull applied for the position representing the township, and Nancy Moon applied for the position representing the city. Their applications are included in the packet. Both the township board and city council would like the current library board to review the interested candidates for all seats and make a recommendation. The city council plans to appoint their 2 trustees at their meeting on November 12th, and the township board plans to appoint their 5 trustees at their meeting on December 17th. The term for these candidates will be from January 1, 2020 to December 31st, 2022.
Okay, and has everyone had a chance to review the submissions?
Yes.
Are there any questions? We're fortunate to have people
They're good
They
candidates.
both
who are good candidates.
All
They're
good
good
candidates.
candidates.
The ones here, the ones who are leaving us.
You know, I'm feeling kind of sad about that, so.
Yes, yes.
Me too.
That would be my main comment. I will miss both of you very much. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you. Same.
Yes. And everyone who is applying has experience in our library. They've been members of the Friends. They have been involved in library activities. So it's not someone coming in who has no knowledge of,
No, and it looks like both of them have some good skill sets that
are always useful.
That will be useful.
All right. I will accept a motion for recommendation.
I recommend the appointment of Janice Gaffney, Daniel Green, Allison McFadden Teasling, Marilyn Pomeroy, and Christy Scholl as library board trustees representing Independence Township. And I move to recommend the appointment of Nancy Moon and Ann Rose as library board trustees representing the city of the village of Clarkston.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the recommended members and candidates for library board appointments. Any comments or questions? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried with our strongest recommendations. Thank you very much. And at this point, I think we are willing to accept a motion for dismissal.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Anyone opposed? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried, and we will adjourn at 6:38. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marilyn.